moving at speed of sound. They try quickest hedgehog around. Got ourselves a situation, stuck in a new location without any explanation. No time for relaxation. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, 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 Sonic X.
I don't know. Like, on the one hand, it is kind of cool to bring that character and...
Wow, these ruins move when you get close to them.
And, like, yeah, he took a level in Badass. Like, that's kind of cool and nifty, but...
So be careful not to fall.
I don't know. I don't not like Big, as I hope the Sonic Adventure video showed, but I don't know if I necessarily approve of him in this game. Maybe that's just me, but whatever. Are you starting to see the problem? Are you starting to see where the tedium comes in? Are you starting to see why I was starting to struggle a little bit, wondering how I was going to do this game? This is the third time we're going through this exact same level, and for the most part, there's really no difference. It's just the exact same level with slightly different geometry layouts and enemy placements. But for the most part, we're going through the exact same environment.
Here we go!
Kinda run out of things to talk about, don't ya? Like, there's only so much you can talk about when you're going through the exact same level for the third time. In terms of gameplay, at least, obviously. And the fact that this game gives you so little meat to sink your teeth into when it comes to the narrative doesn't help either. Like, many of the characters, I feel like, are either there's not enough done with them, or they actively suffer and their character... What the fuck happened there? And their character story kind of regresses due to their involvement in this game. Knuckles being the big one, personally, I feel. Where it's like, what are you doing in this game? Why are you helping? Who is protecting the Master Emerald? Anyway. Although Amy kind of benefits and is hurt by her depiction in this game. It's kind of both. Where on the one hand, look at this, she's a speed character. She's leading Team Rose. In terms of raw gameplay, she is on equal terms with Sonic now. The only thing she can't do is the light speed dash. But aside from that, in terms of the mechanics of how you play the game...
The cute rabbit can do it.
The cute rabbit can do it. Aw, Big. I like Big and I don't like Big in this game. You know what I mean? But anyway. In terms of the mechanics, Amy is completely on Sonic's level now. She is totally equal in terms of how she plays in this game compared to Sonic. That's kind of cool, and that furthers her character development to a degree, where she was like, I'm not just gonna be the damsel in distress anymore. Although, Sonic Adventure 2 kind of ran that back a little bit because they removed her gameplay sections. You know, from the concept phase. I didn't mean, like, there is a beta version of Sonic Adventure 2 out there that exists where Amy was playable. I mean, like, they cut that at the concept phase. I wanted to re-clarify that.
Here we go!
But, she, in terms of, like, her story in Sonic Adventure, she has completely elevated herself. She's like, I'm gonna improve myself and embetter myself to be the kind of person that Sonic will want to fall in love with. I'll make him respect me. So now, she can literally keep up with him in terms of how she plays compared to how he plays. I think that's pretty cool. But in other ways, her personality is really fucking insufferable and I can't stand it a little bit. But anyway, as you can see here, this is the end of the level. We didn't actually, like, Team Dark and Team Hero went up a cannon and got shot. If you look up, the spring is still there, and the end of the level for them was further on. This is like halfway through the level, and it's already the end for Team Rose.
Alright!
They don't have the sequence where they're being chased by that big wheel down the slope. So again, Team Rose's levels are much shorter, and I feel like alleviate a lot of the tedium, just because you can get through the fucking level without it being fucking like 12 goddamn minutes long. I mean, it's kind of, again, in this first level,
we could do it.
which is really good, you don't appreciate that, but later, you'll fucking see. But anyway. No, I kind of want to... I'll just cut this out. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. And you can do that. Like, in terms of her gameplay, I do like how Amy has been elevated, but the story is just kind of... Again,
Wow,
like...
what a beautiful
the-
palace. Amy, we're not here to sightsee.
The narrative just kind of lets this game down. The lack of narrative. Like, if you're gonna not even try, then don't even try. You know? Like, why have anything if you're just gonna fumble
Here we
it?
go.
So I feel like this game
Don't look too good.
kind of shows Amy's personality at her absolute
We
worst
can
and
ride
most
the hook of
insufferable.
that bag.
That's cool.
We can go up with no problem.
At her most insufferable, like, the most negative portrayals of Amy's personality are emblematic in this game.
Here we go.
Where she's like, I'm gonna find that Sonic, I'm gonna pin him down and ride that blue dick. I'm gonna force him to marry me, right?
Oh, goodness.
Here we go. Level up.
And like Sonic is actively like, no, and literally fighting her to get her to leave him the fuck alone.
How's that?
And it's like, goodness gracious, could we be, you know?
I'll do my best.
There's just a general, like,
We can travel.
I guess you could explain it though as her being like, yeah, I'm badass now, which she kind of is.
We need an extra.
Like, she can take, like, because of the structure of this game, Team Rose here fights all the same bosses and is just as much of a credible threat against the Eggman Empire as every other team. So, to a degree, Amy is like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass now. I can handle my own business. So I feel like that, like, newfound confidence probably led to that a little bit. It definitely gets toned down later, but at her worst, I feel like you can point to this game as emblematic of how sometimes... You okay, kitty? My cat's flipping the fuck out. You can kind of point to this game as an example of how not to write Amy Rose, I feel like.
I'll do my best.
Like, you could explain it away as being like, okay, that makes sense. Why she's written this way in this game, in that way that I do. Jesus. But I still feel like, nah, this isn't the way I like Amy to be written. And again, on the one hand, I do kind of like the idea of big... Because there's a line near the end of the game where Amy references the events of Sonic Adventure. where it's like, this reminds me of the egg carrier, and Cream is like, what, you've been in battle before, Amy? Like, you have seen the pits of war? And then she's like, what, you too, Big? Like, Big has been in the thick of it. Big has fought fucking chaos. He went up against the god of destruction and took him the fuck on. So on the one hand, that is kind of cool that Big is in this combative role now. He's kind of escalated his capabilities.
Kinda super duper happy.
But on the other hand, that... yeah, it's a little... you know? Hey, look, it's the Egg Hawk again for the third time.
So you're the ones who are playing games with my army.
Dr. Eggman!
You little brats, I'll show you a thing or two.
I like Eggman's design in this game. They kind of really couldn't figure out.
Dr. Eggman, you shouldn't cause so much trouble!
That's a no-no, Doctor.
Oh my god. Team Rose, I feel like, is the most disposable, where it's just like, what is this group doing in the game? Oh, cool. But again, look at his health values. I am just obliterating it. Because Team Rose is easy mode. Boom, just bam. Jesus Christ. Are you seeing what I mean? Where Team Rose really helps alleviate the tedium? Like, Christ, that was 10 minutes total. Whereas every other team, it took me like half an hour.
That was a huge birdie.
Oh my fucking god, Big. Come on, man. Yeah, the Egg Hawk for the third time. It's fine. I'm totally not running out of things to talk about already.
Amy, are you sure Mr. Sonic is here? No doubt about it. My heart is never wrong. Then it must be so. What a huge...
Thankfully, Team Chaotix is by far, the most unique team in this game, and it's actually pretty interesting, but then it wraps right back around to being fucking bullshit. But this is actually pretty nifty, and there's a lot of cool things with Team Chaotix.
Team Chaotix offers a very unique mission-based style of gameplay.
That's so fucking cool. You'll see as we get into it, but they're not just about starting from point A and getting to the end of the level.
Here we go!
Yeah, let's go!
And plus, Team Chaotix being in this game at all is just cool on its face. Like, that's awesome.
It's here! Yeah!
Yeah!
What's wrong
Fucking
with
SBO.
you?
It's here! We've got work!
What?
I've heard good things about you and require your detective.
I'm surprised you've heard about them at all.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
SBO, don't be silly. Besides, you know our policy. We never turn down work that pays.
Yeah, you know our policy!
Yeah, you know our policy.
Let's go!
Yes,
What up?
sir!
Oh, Charmy, you are infuriating. So, find 10 hermit crabs. That's the most interesting part about Team Chaotix gameplay is they're not just about...
Yeah, beach time!
Now what are we gonna do?
See!
Test your abilities.
Bring it on!
Ready.
Here is your first mission. I want to test your investigation skills. Collect 10 hermit crabs.
Let's go!
So that's the coolest part is, as you're going through these same levels, you're actually, like, not just trying to get through it, you're actually keeping your eye out and trying to find the things that are part of the mission that is that thing that you've been asked to do. Shut the fuck up. Like this mission, it's find 10 things that are around in the level. Booyah. In other missions, it might be kill all of the enemies, which is horrific tedium. In another mission, it might be like get to the end of the level without being seen by the enemies, which is horrible. So it starts out conceptually being really interesting and unique and cool, and then very, very quickly degenerates into, oh my god, this is the worst. Someone please help me. I don't want to do this anymore. Please help. And it's actually because of Team Chaotix that I never finished this game as a kid. Like, there is one mission in particular, later in the game, and it's the worst level in the game, that I physically could not fucking do it. And so I never beat this game as a kid because of Team Chaotix. Cheese and crackers. But, and also it is kind of cool that, again, it displays that kind of cavalier, fuck it, try whatever you want. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just throw it in there, you know? Approach of this game being, like, very experimental. Hey, you know how, like, instead of having the Sonic... instead of being a Sonic level where it's get from point A to point B, let's experiment, and this idea of a team that you're actually going through and trying to accomplish a mission, where you have a goal that you want to achieve as you go through the environment. That's a pretty cool idea. Implementation needs some work. Here we go. And they actually take the concept of Team Chaotix's mission-based structure here, and they expand on it with the next game after this.
Careful not to fall.
So, like, this first one is not that hard, because there's actually 20 hermit crabs throughout the level.
Level up.
But, trust me, it gets really fucking bad, and a lot of people, like, it's not just me, but Team Chaotix is really not a well-beloved part of this game. Even though, again, conceptually, that's a pretty cool idea, right? That's really nifty. We're going through, and you're like, okay, let's keep an eye out for what we're looking for here.
I'll take the lead!
And not only that, not only is it, in terms of gameplay, kind of a fun idea, but holy shit, it's Team Chaotix! Fucking Chaotix are in this game! How crazy is that shit? Like, what? Like, that was such a big surprise when this game first came out.
Here it comes!
Because, again, for most people, are gonna be like, who the fuck? Hold on, I need to talk about this. He's holding them in his mouth. Instead of using them as boxing gloves like Knuckles, instead of them hanging off his shoulders like Big, Vector carries his teammates in his mouth.
Run! Run!
Just one of the many perks of having a crocodile as your boss. Anyway. But when that was like kind of unveiled that, yo, it's Team Chaotix, people went, whoa, holy shit, for real? And people who didn't know who they were went, what? Who? What? Who? What? So Team Chaotix, the characters that encompass Team Chaotix, are from a little game called Knuckles Chaotix, which was a game back on the 32X, the you know, abandoned
Here we go!
peripheral that was the 32X. And I think very few, like, it's kind of known now in this age of the internet. And the age of the internet really changed everything. Now, everything has been archived, right? And you can just kind of find out what everything and anything is. But at the time,
Hermit crab.
who the
Must be nearby.
fuck owned a 32X? Why would you own a 32X?
Okay, sweet! Here we
So who the fuck played goddamn Knuckles Chaotix? No one, right?
Mission complete.
So these characters being reintroduced into the franchise was kind of a big deal. It was like, holy shit, these characters who were in one game on the 32 fucking X that no one played and was a weird kind of bad game. They're in this making, like, let's bring those guys back. Why not? What the fuck? Where does that come from? And honestly, I love the Chaotix as characters. I feel like there's a right way and a wrong way to handle them, but I love the Chaotix as characters. I feel like they bring so much to the setting of Sonic's world,
Here's your next mission.
where they're just detectives. They're...
Find and rescue that child.
This is probably the most conventional of the Chaotix missions, where literally we are just kind of getting to the end of the
So
level.
stay quiet and move slow.
So Espio is a ninja, and he can turn invisible, which I think is pretty cool. And this will be essential in at least one level later on, where you have to go through the entire level without alerting any enemy.
Let's see what's up there.
So you basically have to go through the entire level invisible. But Espio's a fucking ninja, and he's just part of this detective agency with his buddies. And he's not even the leader. That's another cool thing, is I really like how, like, obviously, Sonic is
Here we go!
kind of the leader, kind of the driving force behind Team Sonic.
I'll take the lead!
Let's go.
I'll take the lead!
Here we go.
Amy is kind of the leader of Team Rose. But Vector is the leader of Team Chaotix. He's explicitly the
This
boss.
is Vector's specialty.
And Espio defers to him. So the speed character is not the leader with Team Chaotix. And I would argue in this game, Rouge is kind of the driving leadership figure of Team Dark, but I suppose that's up for debate. Mostly just because Shadow has amnesia, so he doesn't really take charge of the group in that way because of that. I just think that's really cool how the power character is the guy who's leading the group. There's really not more to, like, Espio has the most to him, where he's just a fucking ninja. Like, he's from the fucking village hidden in the leaves or some shit. Honestly, chameleons probably have a very easy time hiding. I feel like chameleons probably... Like, yeah, they're gonna be pretty good at hiding, aren't they? But anyway.
Whoa, not bad.
Like, he's just a fucking ninja, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna join this detective agency with
Treasures that can only
this
be
fucking
taken.
crocodile and an annoying D-boy. But Vector and Charmy don't really have a lot to them. Like, Vector's actually kind of a cool character. He's a lot smarter than you might give him credit for, actually. But Charmy, I find, is just an insufferable, annoying little prick. But I guess you need one of those, right? I almost feel like Charmy is what most people act like Tails is.
Here we go. Let's go.
Like, I don't know, that's just my feeling, but I'm like, people act like Tails is an annoying sidekick because they're fucking monsters. And I hate them. But then you have Charm, and it's like, no, this is an annoying sidekick character. Fuck you, right? This is what you like. Oh, you think Tails is an annoying sidekick character
Take the lead!
who's based around flying and shit. Fuck you, meet Charmy the goddamn bee, guys, assholes, right? Almost, right? I remember, like, Charmy was that character who was, like, super fucking broken in Knuckles Chaotix, because he could literally just fly forever and had unlimited flying capabilities. Interesting. So I just think it's really cool that they take these characters out of retirement and put them in this game and reintroduce them to the franchise, and it's pretty funny, I think, how the Chaotix, even now in the modern games, kind of have a little bit more importance to them. If you, in the what we've seen of Sonic Forces so far, and I stress at the time of this recording, Sonic Forces is not out yet. Sonic Mania is not even out yet at the time I'm recording this. I don't know when this is going to go up. But like the Chaotix are in that footage. So that's pretty interesting how they're coming back into the series in that way. And I do like how it is just the three of them now. Like, people joke about, where's Mighty, right? Where's Mighty the Armadillo? I don't think Mighty was necessarily part of the Chaotix. You know, because in Knuckles Chaotix, Mighty was originally just going to be Sonic, but then they palette swapped him and changed his sprite. But his animations are all Sonic. So Mighty almost feels like he doesn't even count as part of the Chaotix, especially since Mighty was originally introduced
No complaints!
in that arcade game. That super obscure arcade game that no one has ever played because it was Japan only. And you played it with a fucking tracking ball. And it was Sonic... It was like Sega Sonic Arcade, something like that. I don't remember. I have no idea. Like, that's one of those... That's the most obscure Sonic game that has ever existed. Of the many there have been. But that is the game that Mighty was introduced in. And he was, like, solo. And part of the trio between Mighty, Sonic, and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Ray the Flying Squirrel is by far the most obscure Sonic character that has ever existed. He literally appeared in one game, in a Japan-exclusive arcade game. And he has never appeared in any other game in the entire franchise since then. And people still won't let him go. So I more, in my head, associate Mighty with Ray than I do with the Chaotix. I don't really consider Ray or Mighty to be part of the Chaotix. It's these three dudes, since they were the ones who were introduced in Knuckles Chaotix.
So, you're the ones who were playing games with my army?
Sorry, just part of the job. That's the evil genius, Dr. Eggman.
Doctor Who?
Yes.
Seriously?
Let me show you who I really am.
Don't hesitate. It's part of your job.
A self-proclaimed genius scientist.
What a psycho!
Oh,
You're
Jesus.
either a genius or a madman. Either way, you'll be sorry for getting in our way.
Why not both? Doctor Who.
Rookery attack.
Eggman was in Knuckles Chaotix. He was the villain of Knuckles Chaotix, Charmy. What are you implying? Like, what is with that dialogue? How do you not know who that is?
Is that all you got?
That reminds me of, like, every time, like, sometimes when there's a new season of Power Rangers, you'll have a character be like, oh, the Power Rangers are just a myth or a comic book character. It's like, fuck you. Shut the fuck up. But that was a really cool, like, when this game first came out, that was such a significant thing. Because, I mean, SBO, before this game came out, like, that was the only game the Chaotix were ever in. They were in Knuckles Chaotix, that failed game, that was an exclusive for that failed peripheral. And it's like, yeah, you're never gonna see these guys again. SBO, at least, was in Sonic the Fighters. That's why I say, like, Ray is the most obscure, because Mighty was in 2 games. He was in Chaotix and that arcade.
Roger.
SBO was in 2 games. He was in Chaotix and the Fighters. Charmy and Vector were kind of in limbo, because it's like they were only ever in that
Death to
one
the
game.
evil one. Prepare to die, Eggman.
Jesus. So bringing them back with this game was really cool. That was like, holy shit, the fucking Chaotix. And people who'd never heard of the Chaotix were like, who? Who are these new characters? And it's like, nah, dude. Nah. That's awesome.
Real test. All of you are about to enter Eggman's territory. Are you ready?
Not too late to change your mind.
Why do you think we're here? How else are we gonna make the rent?
Let's go!
Very Cowboy Bebop. That's the impression I get. Weird comparison, I know. But anyway, so now you get it. Hopefully you understand. That's my biggest problem with the game. Did you enjoy going through that exact same level 4 times? And it literally just being the same level every time? Now do the entire game. The entire game 4 times. Yeah, it gets a little tedious. It's a little... That's the biggest thing about this game. Like, if it was a fantastic 10 out of 10 amazing game, I wouldn't have a problem with replaying it. But again, I think it's kind of average. At its best, I wouldn't say it's a super fantastic game. This is the first Sonic game, 3D Sonic game, that I feel like if you wanted to talk bad about this, I wouldn't blame you. I feel like there's a lot of explanations for why it ended up the way it did, and I do praise the ambition. The things this game does well, I really like. But it's balanced out by the things that I think, fuck, I don't want to do this. Fuck this game, I want to play something else, right? So that kind of evens it out to being kind of just average for me. And by far, that's the biggest reason why you just saw there, going through the exact same game 4 times in a row. You'll start to see other problems I have as we go forward, but that's definitely the biggest one. So from here, I'm just gonna do, like, each level, I'm gonna switch to a different team, and I'll show all the cutscenes and all that, and the boss fights, but for the most part, imagine that, but for the entire rest of the game. So for the sake of this playthrough, I'm gonna spare you that experience.